Okay, so the way that we chose which items would display in this slideshow was selecting any blog item that had an image associated with it. Now, for this sort of slideshow area, a lot of times, especially if it's going to be on the home page of your site, you want more control over the articles that you're highlighting. And so the way we can do this, which if we were to describe it a little bit more generically, is that we want to select some arbitrary nodes to display in our view. We can use a module called Nodequeue. Now we could use the view to select specific nodes to display, but that would require that our content editors would then need to go into views whenever they wanted to change the homepage display. And views, as we found out by going through extensive examples, is pretty deep. There's a lot of material there, and there's a lot of things that we can do to mess things up. So we don't really want to give access to that area to our contributors. It's going to be overwhelming, and the chances of them making a mistake is high. So Nodequeue allows us to separate out the selection process for the nodes to display here from the view itself. Let's go ahead and hop over to the Nodequeue Drupal page. So I'm going to type Drupal Nodequeue in Google, and I'll select the topmost item, and that will take us to drupal.org/project/Nodequeue. And this gives you a description of how Nodequeue works and some additional tools that you can use to use Nodequeues in other contexts. And from here, we can go ahead and install it. Here's the information that you need in order to download and install Nodequeue. I'm going to use Drush to do both. So I'm going to type Drush DL Nodequeue. Okay, and so I'll go ahead and enable Nodequeue from here. Drush en Nodequeue. I'll type Y. And now we had some additional modules listed here. Let's go ahead and take a look at those on our modules listings page. So I'm going back to our site, and I'm going to modules. So now to view the 4 modules that come with Nodequeue, you can do a search for Queue. They're not all bundled in the Nodequeue section if you click it on the left. So type Queue and you can view them all. So we enabled Nodequeue, which will supply us with the functionality that we need for this. There's also Nodequeue Generate, which, as you can see, bulk assigns nodes into queues for quickly populating a site. Most of the time, this will be used for development purposes when you want to set up some default content for a site. We have Nodequeue Service, which will allow you to plug into the Services module, which we haven't covered at all, and which is beyond the scope of what we're talking about here. But just as a little teaser, Services allows you to interact with your website remotely from other sites. So you could potentially build, for example, an iPhone app that would generate a Nodequeue based on particular criteria that you set in it. And Services basically just exposes a set of APIs to be able to manipulate your site from the outside, from other applications. And then we have Smart Queue Taxonomy, which it says creates a node queue for each taxonomy vocabulary. We don't need that for now, so we'll skip it.